Good morning, everybody, and welcome. We are just waiting for our panelists to join. They're running just a few minutes late. So again, welcome, and we'll get started here in just a few minutes. All right, good morning, everybody. Our panelists will be joining us shortly. Welcome to the Red Barn Academy's approach to solving homelessness. My name is Haley Hinckley, and also on the webinar with me is Carol Nelson. We are both program specialists with the Utah Office of Homeless Services, and this session will be 1 hour long. If you have any questions, please enter them in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Myself and Carol will be monitoring the questions to answer any logistical issues that may come up. Questions for presenters will be answered time permitting. So with that said, as soon as our panelists jump on, I will introduce them as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Sorry about our tardiness. Evidently, there was some kind of misunderstanding.
That's okay. We're glad you're here. So I just wanted to do some quick introductions. It's Kevin, Nathan, and Sean all here with you.
That is correct.
Okay. So Kevin Reel is a graduate of the Delancey Street Foundation. Delancey Street is a nonprofit organization based in San Francisco that operates residential rehabilitation services and vocational training programs across the United States. Before going to Delancey Street, Kevin struggled with drug addiction and homelessness. He has been substance-free for 24 years, and his passion is helping others with pasts similar to his own. Kevin is now the program manager for Red Barn Academy. Nathan Workman, W, is the intern manager at Red Barn Academy and is a Utah native. He has spent 21 years in prison. After his release in 2016, Nathan was homeless and continued to struggle with drug use due to discomfort or feelings he was having. Several traumatic events over the course of his life contributed to these feelings he was struggling with. Since going to Red Barn Academy, Kevin learned how to take on his addiction and has now been there for over 20 months, working hard to learn and grow. Nathan hopes that in the future, he can look back on his life and be proud knowing he has made a difference. And finally, Sean Miller is a Utah native who works as the moving company lead for Red Barn Academy. At the age of 13, Sean found himself homeless due to drug use, alcoholism, and violence in his home. This led him to using drugs and alcohol, which resulted in Sean being in and out of juvenile detention for the next 5 years. This pattern of drug use and institutionalization has continued into his adult life, mostly due to a need to have a warm place to stay. Now that he is at Red Barn Academy, he feels he has found his purpose. So with that said, thank you all for being here today, and we'll let you take it away.
Beautiful. Thank you. So, and really, my purpose here is just to introduce these gentlemen. I really believe that that this kind of presentation is much more impactful coming from one of our students, or in this case, two of our students. You know, I was a student at Delancey Street Foundation, but we're not talking about Delancey Street today. What we're talking about today is Red Barn, and it as being a solution to homelessness. So I'm going to let these gentlemen talk about that. And Sean's sitting right here, so I'm just going to let him slide right in. So thanks for having us.
Hello, my name is Sean Miller. I've been at the Red Barn Academy for 17 months now. Before I got here, my life was upside down. Being, a criminal, drug addict. Most of the time in those cases, I was always homeless. And that's what led me to do the crimes and the addiction. So I didn't have to sleep, and I didn't have to, and I could provide for myself. It all started when I was young. My father was an alcoholic and a drug abuser. My mom, she couldn't afford anything on her own, so she kind of just was there to let it happen. My dad was very violent whenever he'd get too drunk, and like she was saying that I at the age of 13, I was basically homeless. I was jumping from couch to couch at the friends' houses that I did have because my dad was so abusive. It led on to more drug addiction, obviously, because I was homeless and needed a place to stay, and all the friends that I did have at the time were drug users as well and used alcohol. Throughout my adult life, I went off and on being homeless and on drugs and alcohol. It was never like a stable thing for me. In and out of incarceration, I went to multiple juvenile detentions, ranch programs, work programs like this one, kind of. Throughout my whole adult life, I've been in and out of jail, in and out of relationships due to my addictions. And like I said before, every time I'm homeless, I always use, and I always commit crimes because of that. Since coming to Red Barn, though, it's teaching me a new way of life. It's given me a stable foundation, and it's given me some camaraderie that I needed my whole life. Friends that actually care for me, friends that are going to have my back no matter what, and not the kind that are going to lead me off astray, So Since coming to the Red Barn, I'm actually able to think of others first, put myself aside, and become that better man. Before I didn't care about how my family felt. I have sisters that I just adore. And every day I was out there homeless and using, my addiction was the things I craved the most was meth and heroin. I used the meth to, obviously stay up so I didn't have to try to find a place to sleep that night. I could just be awake and just do whatever I got to do. The heroin was to numb the pain. But every day I was out there, I didn't care about my family, didn't care about my sisters. My closest sister, her name's Melissa. She's 18 months younger than me. She grew up basically with me the whole time, and she knows how my dad was. And luckily, she never got beat by him or anything like that. But she's my closest friend. And a couple of times throughout my life, I almost lost my sister due to just accidents, like almost getting hit by a car. Swing set fell on her and ruptured her insides, so she was in the hospital for 3 or 4 weeks trying to get that all put back together. But today I get to think about her, and I think about what I would do, how I'd feel if my sister wasn't here. And it tears me up to think that every day I was out there on the streets being homeless and using using the drugs and stuff, of what I was putting her through. It's just terrible to think about. It chokes me up every time I do think about it. But so I put my family through heck too. I mean, and I don't even think twice about it. Here at the Red Barn, it gives us an opportunity to create ourselves again. It gives us an opportunity to learn our work ethic again, and most of all, it gets us off the streets and gives us somewhere warm to stay, with food in our belly, and the ability to look out for the next guy. Want to go? No? Oh, yeah.
Talk about Red Barn and what we do.
Okay. So Red Barn, it's a 2 years life skills academy for men that struggle with addiction, criminality, and homelessness. We work hard here. 6 days a week we're working. We have 4 different enterprises that help us out to keep the lights on, keep us fed, and to expand. Red Barn, we hold each other accountable here for our actions. We don't necessarily worry about the addiction part of it, because that's just a byproduct of the negative behaviors and negative thinking that we have, the bad choices that we made throughout our lives. So here we correct that by holding one another accountable for actions. If one of my guys here are, being selfish, entitled, or whatever that looks like, we just call them out on the carpet and let them know, hey, you can't act like that here. And they have to change it. And if they don't change it, then obviously there's consequences. Twice a week, we sit in a big circle. I believe there's 58 of us here right now. And we sit in a circle for 2 hours, and we call those negative behaviors out on the carpet again for everybody to hear. Once it's out there, the story gets told to everybody, then everyone else can chime in and give their feedback as well. And you can only imagine, 58 homeless, drug addict criminals. It gets pretty raw and uncut. And we can't say anything back. We have to sit there and accept the feedback we're getting and take what we can from it and move on. Most of us in here, we've been doing stuff, 80% right our whole life, but it's just the 20% that we struggle with, and that's what always leads us back to our problems. So that's what we're concentrating on. As long as we can find that, or find even just the smallest percentage of what the feedback's given us, then we're becoming better off. If we don't accept the feedback and we just keep doing the same behavior, we end up with we call it community service. And we have to, after we get done with our 10 to 12 hour workday, we come home and we work some more until 10 o'clock when the lights are out. The day starts here for some guys, if they get up at 4 a.m. so they can be on the floor to cook breakfast for everybody by 5, or that's when they have to be on the floor, excuse me. And breakfast has to be done by 6. The other guys, they wake up at 5:30 and then they have to be on the floor at 6 as well to eat breakfast. And then they usually go out to one of our enterprises and work throughout the day. We have 4 different stages of our program, actually 5 if you count the third-year students, the master residents. But for the first 90 days you're here is the intern phase. Basically, in that phase, you're earning your way into the house. You're learning to follow direction, and basically you're here on the farm for the most part, doing laundry, doing chores around here, and that's basically it. In that 90 days, if you can prove that you can follow direction and say okay and just keep a good attitude, you can go out, you can earn a spot on one of the enterprises within 30 to 40 days if you're good. After that 90 days is up and you've earned your keep here, we advance you to the freshman stage. At the freshman stage, you're basically showing us that you can follow direction, and now you can start applying these rules and start actually practicing these rules that we've taught you. And then you get a little bit more free time. As an intern, you have to travel around in twos. You can't ever be alone until you go to bed, then you can be alone, but you always have to travel around here in pairs just for the accountability part. As a freshman, you can start traveling by yourself. Yeah, we have actually a pretty nice gym here. You can start going to the gym 3 times a week. And then you start getting responsibilities like little jobs around here, like basically like a chore would be. And you got to keep that up to date and do that well. After that stage, at that stage, you also start getting, you can have phone calls. You get 1 phone call a month for that stage, and that the freshman stage lasts for another 3 to 4 months after that. So between the intern stage and the freshman, you're looking 7 months in that whole little period there. After the freshman stage, you become a resident, and at the resident, you're obviously you're following rules, you know what you're doing, and you're at that point in your program where you can start leading people and teaching them what they need to do and how they need to do it. This is basically the part where we start making people crew leads and leaders over other enterprises around here. In the resident stage, you can get your 1 phone call a month, and you can start getting not home visits, but you can start getting visits here at the barn. And so you can have 1 visit every 90 days. So that stage is basically cut and dry there. You're learning to lead the people below you and become a leader in the house. After you've proven yourself there, you become a senior resident. You're stepping back and you're leading from behind. You're still, kind of helping the house go the direction it's supposed to be going, but you're just more of an enforcer than anything, making sure the other guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing and making these rules happen. As a senior resident, you get another perk. You get to go to the gym for 5 days a week. You get home visits now, so you can go home and see your family or whoever raised you, throughout your life. And then you can still get you get 2 phone calls a month at this point. After that, if you've proven yourself to that, they call it a master resident stage, and that's once you get to your 2-year commitment, you're able to, if you want to or need to, you feel like you need to, they give you the option to stay a 3rd year. And in that 3rd year, basically you concentrate. They say just give back to the house, but it's actually to help you. It's like riding a bike. We've learned how to ride a bike here in the program, and now they're taking off the training wheels. At that point, and you're just going to live life. You're going to be out in the community a lot more. You have the option to go to school, or a lot of times lately they've been taking the 3rd-year students about halfway through and giving them a job opportunity here at the Red Barn to become staff and help lead us through our program. Anything else? All right, here comes Nathan Workman. He's your next guest, AKA W. Here he comes. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is W. I am the intern manager here at Red Barn. I love Red Barn. Red Barn has helped me change my life. It's helped me, given me, focus and pride in what I'm doing in my life. It's helped me find direction and find self-pride again, self-love. But the best thing that's given me is it's not about me anymore. It's about other people, right? It's about what I can do to help. And that's been a long process, that's for sure. You mentioned in the very first, there was a short time in my life where I chose to be homeless. I had caused so much pain in my family as far as, being away from them, that I chose to be homeless. And I told them to stop loving me because I had stopped loving myself. And I just felt like I didn't want to be a burden on them anymore. And I'm sure I was much more of a great burden, but that's a bed that I've had to make and sleep in, and trying to balance those scales now. So that's this opportunity at Red Barn has given me that. It's given me an opportunity to balance those scales. But homelessness, especially in Utah, a cold place, is no fun. I look back at that experience and I'm very, very grateful for it. But also looking back, it was a time that I so sad and cold and hungry, that's for sure. And I didn't want anything from anyone. I didn't want anybody's help. I didn't want necessarily anyone to look at me too long. I wasn't too happy with how I was living, but I knew inside that I was a good person, right? And so there was this hope and there was hope. I just kept hoping that for a better life, for a better way, to find some type of answer to, we have a saying here that's at Red Barn, it's the one that stands within. When you get here, they give you this little bracelet and it says a band of RBA brothers. And then on the inside, it says the one that stands within. And that's what it's about. It's about being that person that on the inside, right? It's about bringing that person out and really being true to yourself and being the person you want. For me, it's been a long journey to get here to Red Barn, but it's been an answer. It's been an answer to away from homelessness, that's for sure. I've got things back in my life now that I never thought I would have back. And that's very humbling, right? But for me, it's given me purpose too. It's given me purpose to give back to others. And like I said, I'm the intern manager right now. I have 20 new guys. And I've been through 3 or 4 groups of new guys, but I'm just very grateful for this opportunity. It allows me to use my experience as far as federal prisons and state institutions and being in the hole and then being homeless and really just living a hard life, to what I can do to help, and then how I can use that experience to help these guys.
Will you talk about the process? So the actual mechanics of how Red Barn works.
So the process, let me talk a little bit about the process of Red Barn. So if someone was homeless and they came and sat on the bench, is that they can come in and sit on the bench. The bench is a wooden bench that signifies their new life, right? And also the old life they left behind. They could sit on the bench for a few hours or several hours, depending on how bad that they want it. And so we kind of test and see if they want to be here. We will then do an interview. People that will not be accepted are child molesters, arsonists, and people that are on medication. And so they need to be off meds as far as coming in. We also have a DTC. Is it DTC? There's a mental health place close by, a place to detox that's about a block away that we work real closely with. Receiving center. So Davis County Receiving Center. Thank you, Kevin. And we allow those guys to go there and get clean, and we'll come pick them up and then bring them here to the Red Barn. They'll sit on the bench and then do an interview process to where we interview them and ask them if they're on meds and how they're doing and stuff like that. But then they're They're dressed out. They're given all their hygiene they need. We eat really good here. We're fed on donations, but we have a lot of people that we work with, the Utah Food Bank and Bountiful Food Pantry, that take care of us. We get food donated almost every other day or every day, and so we eat good here. And for me, it's just having that security and stuff, to like a place, roof over my head, somewhere to go, something to do, something to eat. So I mean, that's big, right? And so now I can build a life that's not from the past, but a new life, a place to reinvent. And that's what we concentrate on. Is we don't talk about our past. We don't talk about we talk about the new things here at Red Barn. And it took me a while to get by that. I mean, you think 21 years of prison, and to go in at 18 and come out pretty much when I'm 40, all those were my memories, right? And so, but it's been fun to recreate. We're not going to give up. And then, as far as people coming in, it's been an eye opener for me of how many people come in and they don't have much as far as a family, or and this place has been a family. This place is our new family. This is a place to reinvent. And I can't say those words loud enough. It's about finding the one that stands within. We go right to work. As far as the first 90 days, my job is to keep them here. And if I can keep them here the first 90 days, then I improve their chances of staying 2 years by 85%. So that's big, right? And since I've had the intern job, I feel like I've done a good job. It takes a village to raise a child, that's for sure, but I have a lot of help. And since I've had this position, I've been able to use my experience and treat these guys with respect and kindness. And that's the key, right? Is treating them like a man, treating them like a person. And for so long, I think that, well, a lot of us, especially being homeless, you feel like that no one cares about you, that you're alone, that you're, an animal maybe. It's just good to be treated like a human being and have that opportunity to change your life. And this is a long-term commitment. It's not obviously 2-year minimum, 27-month to be exact. When they come in, they sign a 27-month commitment, but really as long as it takes, right? And so it's the serious people. It's the people that really want to change. It's the people that really want something different. This is the last place, right? This is the place you go when you're really serious about change. And I found that I've always been the serious guy, the guy that went to prison when I was 18, and then, got out, and the only place I was important was out in prison. And so my drive is to be, important at home. But what I've found is that here at Red Barn, this is my family, and I'm able to help others. And I can't tell you how much that means to me, and how much that my past means to me now, to be able to do something new. It's not going to define who I am, but it definitely has helped me help these guys in a way that I'm grateful for sure. So it's about turning my life into something good, and being able to look back and be proud of myself. That's for sure. So.
So how we actually going to make the change, we do that. So we pull people up and we pass information.
Okay, so Kevin wants me to talk a little bit about the process. We call it the process, and Sean talked a little bit about it, touched a little bit about it, but let's just say that I'm being negative. I'm displaying a negative behavior as far as I'm mad, or I'm upset, or I'm swearing, or maybe just acting a certain way. Sean or Kevin will say, hey, please don't do that. Any type of correction, whether any type of correction, hey, don't walk that way, don't look like that, don't do that. That's a correction. Someone's telling me to go a different way. And all I can respond with is thank you. Or okay. So I just say thank you or okay. Any other response besides that is called pushback. And that can give you an extra 2 hours of community service if you're not lucky, or 4, maybe the next time you're feeling a little more pushbacky. But Yeah, pushbacky, that's for sure. Anyway, so like I say, you're faced with negative behavior. Sean was talking about you sitting in a circle and then people bring you that behavior. Hey, look, W, you were being negative. And this is what I saw. I can't say anything. I just have to take the feedback, the raw feedback. It's uncut. Sometimes I don't like what they say to me, but that's what it's about, right? It's about being okay with some stuff that I might not be okay with. It's about handling things. They might be this big. You might not have made your bed correctly, but we're going to blow it up and make you feel make you feel some type of way. But you have to take a look at perception. You have to take a look at maybe what somebody could have saw. And that's, you're in control, and that you're in control of what perception you create. That's for sure. But anyway, you sit in the circle on Mondays and Thursdays. They give you feedback. Hopefully you're a wise man and you're able to take that feedback. And really you start to realize that it's from a place of love, right? And I played a lot of sports in my life as a kid and was a heck of a ball player. But I remember my grandpa was saying, the coach, he cares about you because he's yelling, and we don't necessarily have to yell all the time, but what we're saying is, hey, do better, right? And this is what we saw, and then it's up to you to be able to change it. And so that's the process. And then you get to a couple hours to think about it, maybe 4, 6, 8, 12 of extra community service to be able to not only beautify the grounds, but have an opportunity to think about stuff and work on it. If you do something egregious, like maybe say you get violent or what's another contract? Throw a chair. So good example. Yeah. So I was an intern. I was an intern for 6.5 months, the longest out of anyone. So that's why they put me in this position, because I was an intern for so long. But I threw a chair. I was upset about some feedback that I was actually giving the director at the time, but the chair just, anyway, it went away from me and landed on the ground, and I'm glad it didn't hurt anybody. And I'm real grateful that I didn't go back to prison that day. I mean, they could have sent me back, and they gave me an opportunity to do a contract, and a contract is really, as long as they decide, 30, 60 days of contract. And what that means is that you wake up at 4 a.m. and you work until 10 p.m. You don't stop working. You can't talk to anyone. You just beautify the grounds. And my history and things that were going on, I was like, I think I'll do a contract, and I'll let you guys know that I can do your contract. But at the end of 30 days, I'm just going to walk away. And that's how much pride I have in my Irish self. But anyway, I went through the contract. What a grateful opportunity I had there. I just remember thinking to myself, I'm going to work so hard that I'm going to show these guys that not only am I not soft, but I've been through some stuff, and that I'm going to show them that I'm a hard worker, and that I really, I just want us to see that. But as I go through the process of working, you get so tired. At about the 3-week point, you're just kind of like a zombie, and you're like, oh, happy to do it, But I just remember going to a corner of the farm and wanting to cry, wanting to break down. And I was just exhausted mentally, physically. And I got to the corner and I just started to clean it. I just thought to myself, if I don't clean this, like, and I sit here and cry and I take a break or maybe even take a nap or whatever, like, I'm going to know. Right. And here I had done this great contract. And so that's what it's about, right? It's about integrity. It's about what you are in that corner. It's about what you are in the dark. And that's what Red Barn's given me. It's given me integrity. It's given me self-awareness, self-pride, a work ethic. I look in the mirror now and I'm proud of what I'm doing. I know that I'm making a difference. I know that I'm getting closer to what's important to me and in this life and to the community, and to just making a difference. And so that I can look back one day and be proud of what I've done, right? And what we've done. And Red Barn, it means the world to me. It fills my soul. It fills everything that is good. This is a great opportunity for someone to come and change their life. Right now, we're in the stages of, like Sean said, of 59 guys. We just completed a new bunkhouse that's going to house another 70 men. Right now, we have 5 move crews. We are one of the only 5-star moving companies in Utah. We take a lot of pride in what we do. We're able to go into these homes and move people's stuff. Like, they trust us with their stuff, and we're able to do it with the best in the state, right? And we, for a lot of us, it's the first time we've been able to do something good. For a lot of us, it just it gives us the opportunity to change our life. So we go in there with such a grateful attitude and motivation that we do this awesome job. And you can imagine, moving people's houses 6 days a week. It can get pretty taxing. And if that last box didn't change your life, maybe the next one will. And if you're having a bad day, well, you better get over it, because that's what we do here. You just get over it, and you act as if until it becomes habit, and you're made aware of your behaviors, and you do better, and you make a difference, right? So I appreciate you guys.
Tell them about Sticky Bird.
Oh, Sticky Bird. Sticky Bird is also one of the enterprises that helps support us. It's a restaurant that the Haas family started. I don't know if the Haas family is actually our benefactor. So Rich Haas had a son, Dustin, that passed away from a heroin overdose, decided to do something about it, and started the Red Barn. He had this little red barn out here in Farmington, started to buy properties that surrounded the area, and pretty much was like an AA spot for a minute, but now it's turned into this. And went back to Delancey Street and then to the other side Academy to find out what he could about TC communities and what worked, as far as people on, having addictions and being homeless, and found that TC communities were the most effective because they were long-term, and he just liked that way. And so here we are today. The Haases, they came up with a restaurant called Sticky Bird. It helps us, and we own that, and our guys run that, and they run the store, and it's a restaurant that people can go into, the public, and see our story, look up on the walls. It has really good chicken, if you like chicken. So we're kind of like a wingers based deal, but we have our own menu and stuff, and it's really tasty, if you like food like me. But so it's cool. It makes it a cool experience, right? Because it's about connection, right? Connection is the opposite of addiction, and that's what we believe here. It's about what I can do to help, and addiction is just all about isolation, and homelessness. You isolate, and so now we're trying to connect. We're trying to connect our life, and that is the key. That's for sure. And so that's another place to connect and share the story. And we also have Red Barn Thrift. Red Barn Thrift is just right across the street from Sticky Bird, our restaurant. The thrift store is like a Deseret Industry or a thrift store. It's cheap items that have been donated to the barn. We have people that donate everything from furniture to knickknacks, the thrift store. So clothes and a lot of women's clothing, and that seems to be a hit. That's for sure. I love to thrift too myself, and thrift stores means a lot to me. It's helped put clothes on my back in times of homelessness, that's for sure. But we have a thrift store that runs 5 days a week, and just in the starting mode of getting bigger and better. But our guys, we have, I think, 3 or 4 guys over there that work full time, and we're just starting to blow up a little bit. And it also is one. We also have Red Barn Construction. We have 2 crews right now, 4 guys that are doing construction. They're killing it. They're doing really well. We have a man named Kenny Jarvis, a student like me, that's I think he might be like, a couple months behind me, 4 or 5 months behind me, but has a lot of construction experience. We're about to go, hopefully commercial with it, and doing some really good things, remodels and all types of construction. So that also is a good avenue to take a tool to the next level and move forward. Since being here, we also have done a welding opportunity with DATC. welding and culinary arts where guys can learn some skills. I've got a certification in 3G stick welding now, and that's cool. You can also learn how to cook, and that's cool too. Some skills you can learn along the way. We also want you to get your GED if you haven't, in fact, require that if you haven't got your GED and high school diploma. We also have opportunities for Weber State right now that they're providing a supply chain management course that will be done next August. We just started in November. I'm taking that currently. It's really hard, but it's worth it, right? It's figuring out these computers and typing and doing emails and stuff like that. And I don't like it too much, but I'm getting better at it. And sometimes it's okay. What are you guys laughing at? They're laughing at me.
You're smashing it.
I love you, bro.
Anyway, I just keep it real, really. I don't know any other way. This place is amazing, and it will light your eyes up. You know, for a while there, I was stuck down on the ground, and it's poor me. And then I looked up, right, and in the middle of my contract, I realized that here was this peacock in front of me, and we have a peacock here. His name Repeat. And he fans his feathers out, and he'll sit there and spin around. Well, I have never seen him fan his feathers out until that day on contract when I really needed it. You know, we have two peacocks now. One's named Hope, Repeat. We have a few alpacas, Justin Bieber and Dusty. We have 3 miniature goats, Snap, Crackle, and Pop. One of them might have, I think, Crackle. He turned into Vader because he's too fat. But then we have a couple dogs, Australian Akboshes, one named Rocky and one named Gracie. They're like an old sheep dog, Australian sheep herder dog that really is a neat dog. What else do we have? We have some ducks that are really cool, Bonnie and Clyde. And then we have a bunch of rabbits. We start out with 5, 4 months ago. We have 40 rabbits now. 40 in 5 months. And so hence the term. Anyway, we've got some chickens that lay a few eggs every once in a while. So the animals are a big part of what we do here at Red Barn. They've given a lot of peace to a lot of guys that are going through it, right? And you know, we get in the mud out here, we get dirty, we work hard. Like I say with the interns, we're just busy doing duties on the farm, staying busy, right? If you're standing around, you might lead a perception that you're not working, and so someone might call you lazy. They're not going to call you that, but they're going to say, "Hey, don't do that," and you're going to be like, "Okay, thank you." And then you're going to sit in a circle, and they're like, "Hey, the other day everybody was working, but you were standing there," and so it makes you take a look, right? And they come from a place of love, and that's what we try and do, is make that paradigm shift that, you know, you get to go through it. It's what happens, right? Life is a series of events, and it's tough, and you get to go through it. For so long, I ran from everything. For so long, I tried to escape all the feelings and just run from anything uncomfortable that I didn't like. You know, if I didn't like you or didn't like the situation, see ya. And now I get to go through it. Now I get to feel those feelings. Now I get to be there for somebody else. And I'm just real thankful. So thank you for allowing me to come here today and speak. And it was nice to meet you guys. See you later.
Okay. And so I think that the guys did a really great job. Okay, so we've got a couple questions. So they're not allowed to take mental health medication. So, and the important thing to recognize is that we're not a medical facility. We're totally peer driven. So we don't have anybody that actually can do medication management. So that would be why anybody that's on any kind of medication linked to a mental health diagnosis can't be here. It's just because of the way that we're set up. We're actually not a quote unquote treatment center. What we are is a life skills academy. So we don't have any counselors. You know, and I really just, I believe myself that this is a fantastic opportunity for some folks, not for all. But I know that for myself, understanding that I'm a graduate of Delancey Street long-term, the stuff that we teach the guys, you know, W and Sean both talking about playing games and being addressed on these negative behaviors. You know, we really work to get the guys to be accountable for their actions. So when they are called out on these quote unquote negative behaviors, that they work to change it. We also work to ensure that the guys actually do what's called a pull-up. So W's talking about it, right? It's like we don't do that here. And so what's happening at that point is the guys are learning how to set healthy boundaries. I know that when I was in my active addiction, I didn't have any boundaries. I did whatever was going to happen next. And usually, well, a lot of times it landed me up in a bad position as a result. So the guys are learning how to do something different. They're learning how to be accountable, how to set healthy boundaries, so that when they do graduate, they can actually be successful. And, you know, and I can tell you guys that it does work. It worked for me. This is something that I still practice in my life every day. You know, I still work to be honest. I work to be a man of integrity. You know, and personally, I'm just, you know, Red Barn is such a fantastic thing. You know, here in Salt Lake, we're very fortunate. You know, we've also got the Other Side Academy, which really does basically the same thing that we do. You know, they're old school therapeutic community. That's really what we are. Are there any other questions? Okay. I'd like to thank you all for letting us be here today. And I think that that's what we've got. So, and is there anything else that you need from us?
I think we might have one more question.
Okay.
So what makes them a successful model as far as like continuing practices, like the social enterprising aspect?
This is Carol Dilson with the Office of Homeless Services.
Hi,
Can
Carol.
you speak a little bit to the social enterprising aspect? Because a lot of the providers attending today are nonprofit providers. And so
Sure.
I think the social enterprising aspect is an interesting one. So what makes it a successful model to continue the service? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. And I don't know that either one of the guys said this, but Red Barn's free. And the reason that it is free is because we operate these enterprises, right? So we have the moving company, our 5-star moving company, which is fantastic. I've actually had the guys, when I came down here from Alaska, some of the guys brought some stuff up to our apartment and they were very professional. They're very neat. The guys here don't smoke. They smell good. You know, dressed in uniforms, and they work very hard. This is a service that we provide, of course, for a fee. The men here don't get any money, so there's no salary. They don't make a wage. Everything that they need is provided for them here. So the money that our enterprises make, such as our moving company, such as Sticky Bird, such as a thrift store, all that money goes back to Red Barn. The idea being that we're fully self-supporting, and that's the idea. We do have some benefactors, but the reality is at this point we are fully self-supporting. We do seek private sector donations from various businesses. So if the guys need underwear or toilet paper or whatever it might be, we've got some guys in our corporate development office that they actually solicit donations of whatever it is that we might need, so that we can keep the money that we actually earn from the enterprises, so that we can keep guys coming in. And that's really what this is all about. It really is all about just helping people, giving people a chance to start anew, to make a new life. to be the guys that they always wanted to be, you know, to be that the one who stands within, you know, or as I like to say, the guy that my mom always wanted me to be, you know, and today I am that guy, you know. And so the guys, in effect, by participating in our social enterprises, in the businesses, what they get to do is they get to learn how to support Red Barn. And so learning that work ethic, bringing money in for the house, it gives them the place to be, it gives them something to do, it gives them a purpose, it teaches them the work ethic. They get to learn how to work in a team setting, you know, on a moving crew, at Sticky Bird, in the thrift store. You know, a large part of the problem with addiction-based issues is the whole self-centeredness thing. And so we just work to teach the guys not to be so self-centered. We teach the guys to give back. We teach the guys to help others, because you know, that's what it's about. I think it was Debbie who talked about, you know, connection being the opposite of addiction, and I agree with that. And that, so these are just the things that we teach the guys. It's Red Barn's a fantastic program. I'm really proud to work here, and I really do feel that it's a fantastic solution to homelessness. You know, granted, it's not for everybody. I know that there's a lot of guys that are are on medication, that can't come here, but again, it's not for everybody.
So just real quickly, looks like we have one more question, but I just did want to give a 5-minute warning before the session will end. So
Fantastic. So thank you for the warning, and I'll answer this last question. So one of the guys said that we're currently a 27-month program. So the first 24 months, the guys practice doing what they do. They practice fucking being accountable. They practice holding others accountable. They practice being honest. They practice having integrity, just all that stuff. Sharing, caring, you know, all that stuff that normal people learn early on. And a lot of the guys learn that stuff early on, but they just forget. The last 3 months, what happens is the guys participate in a workout. So in the workout phase of the program, the gentlemen go out and get a job on their own. They continue to live here at the house, rent-free. So they can eat here. The guys can get lunches when they go out to work. So the last 90 days, they save money. So that when they get done, they can buy a car. We also have graduate housing, so that upon graduation after the 27 months, we have subsidized housing. So there's a number of gentlemen in an apartment. Their apartments right here by our facility. They're very nice, very clean. So the guys get an opportunity to live with other graduates who are doing the right thing, that have the proper attitude. If they don't get to stay here. And so be supported in their transition. So we do have something in place that would be considered to be aftercare. The gentleman can avail themselves of graduate housing for up to a year after from graduating from Red Barn. So I would like to thank you all for letting us come tonight or today and present. I'd also like to thank the guys. I think they did a fantastic job. So
Thank you.
and that's Red Barn in a nutshell. Thanks, guys.
thank you so much for joining us today for our summit. We really appreciate all your time and sharing your experiences with us. So again, we all thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too.